Welcome back to our channel, and today's topic is all about international style in architecture. Let's talk about the common characteristics of international styles. It is rectilinear in forms, light extended plane, strip of applied ornamentation, open interior spaces, visually weightless, and uses glass and steel. International style provide an easily achievable style option for vast-scale urban development projects. Okay, the first well-known architect of international style, the American genius Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Lloyd Wright, born as Frank Lincoln Wright, June 8, and died April 9, 1959. He was American architect, interior design, writer, and educator. Designed more than 1,000 structures, and 532 of which were completed, and the first to advocate high-rise skyscrapers. His philosophy, called organic architecture, best exemplified by falling water or the Kaufman's house. This is his works in offices. Also, he designed many of the interior elements of his buildings. Character of works: strong Eastern influences, use of natural material like brick, stone, and wood, the use of textured concrete, designs that blend well its environment, focus more on residential designs. These are examples of his works. This is the best of his work that is being immortalized until today, The Falling Water in Pennsylvania. Look at the first time that cantilever went to long span. Rectilinear in design, The Falling Water by Frank Lloyd Wright. Like he said, you can never be wrong if you are with Wright. Okay, let's go to the next master in architecture. By the way, this is his tallest building design. Alright, the next master of international style was Le Corbusier. Original name Charles Edouard Jeanneret Gris. Born October 6 and died August 27, 1965. He was a Swiss-French architect, designer, painter, urban planner, and a writer too. He wrote the 5 points of architecture, the pilotis, free facade, ribbon window, roof terrace, open floor plan. Also, he suggested the modular or the golden ratio. Here is Le Corbusier's work. One of the dictum of Le Corbusier is that a house is like a machine for a better living. It is like more just like a smart house. All right, we go to the number 3 or the third masters in architecture. It is not in order, by the way. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, born March 27, 1886 and died August 17, 1969. He was a German architect, regarded as one of the pioneers of modern architecture. By the way, his dictum is less is more and God is in the details, meaning to say simplicity is beauty. His character of work, simple rectangular in forms, open flexible plan, use of glass, mustard steel, exposed and very refined structural details. Here are Mies van der Rohe works: the Barcelona Pavilion, the Farnsworth House, did you notice, guys, the vast interior space? This is one of the characteristics of international styles. The usage of space in interior. One of his tallest building designed, the Seagram Building, I think in New York. Crown Hall. And the fourth master of architecture, no other than Walter Gropius, born May 18, 1883 and died July 5, 1969. They are almost of the same age. German architect and founder of the Bauhaus School in Germany, widely regarded as one of the pioneering masters of modern architecture, believed that all design should be functional as well as aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. Character of works: simple geometry, use of modern materials, smooth surface, linear and horizontal, just like the Fagus factory in Germany. Characterized by the use of smooth surface, concrete, steel, and glass, and of course, rectilinear in design. The Gropius House by Walter Gropius. Here's the plan, elevation, and perspective. The first Bauhaus in Germany. History: Hugo Alvar Henrik Aalto was born in Cortain, Finland. His father, Johan Henrik Aalto, was Finnish-speaking land surveyor, and his mother, Silly Matilda, was a Swedish-speaking postmistress. When Aalto was 5 years old, the family moved to Alajärvi and from there to Jyväskylä in central Finland. Aalto studied the Jyväskylä Lyceum School, completing his basic education in 1916. 1916, he then enrolled to study architecture at the Helsinki University of Technology. Helsinki, that's Helsinki, guys. His studies were interrupted by the Finnish Civil War, which he fought in. He built his first piece of architecture while still a student, a house for his parents at Alajärvi. Afterwards, he continued his education, graduating in 1921. His career, Aalto's career, spans the changes in style from Nordic classicism to purist international style. modernism to a more personal, synthetic, and idiosyncratic modernism. Alto's wide field of design activity ranges from the large scale of city planning and architecture to interior design, furniture and glassware design, and painting. It has been estimated that during his entire career, Alto designed over 500 individual buildings, approximately 300 of which were built, the vast majority of which are in Finland. He also has few buildings in France, Germany, Italy, and United States of America. His philosophy, his design philosophy was influenced by nature and organic materials, unlike other furniture of the same period with materials as tubular steel, which were quite modern at the time. With his innovative design and natural forms, he changed the course of design towards organic modernism. The beauty of his work is hidden in his design approach of functionalism, but with a strong connection to the organic relationship between man, nature, and the building. He coordinated these three components and created a synthesis of life in materialized form. He designed in a very different scales, ranging from buildings, town plans, furniture, glassware, jewelry, and other forms of art. The famous works of Alvar Aalto, the Workers' Club in 1924. Architectural style is Nordic classical. Features discontinuous glazing on all four sides of entrance level. This building houses a restaurant and a coffee bar which supports the auditorium above. He employs various classical devices: circular atrium, Doric columns, Palladian window, cartouches to decorate the stucco's wall. Here is the ground floor plan. It was a two-story building situated on the corner of two streets in the center of the town, and with a cafe and restaurant on the ground floor. From the street level, one entered an impressive entrance that led upstairs to the auditorium. Where are the entrance guy? Here is the entrance that leads to the auditorium upstairs on the second level. Here is the interior of the auditorium. The Painios Sanatorium. Architectural style functionalism features uses RCC frame with infill being an insulating brick cavity wall which is then rendered in a painted white. Sun trap balconies are cantilevered from tapering RCC frame. Exposed lift shaft on the external wall. Free form cantilevered canopy. Well, you like so much cantilevered. Did you recognize that, guys? Okay, here's the plan, the ground floor plan. The plan was meant to be functionally zoned and biodynamical aligned to the compass so that the direction of its wings was defined according to its requirements for sunshine view. A continuous sun deck that runs over the patient wing is protected with RCC canopy to reduce solar gain. Dining room was an enclosed mezzanine suspended from steel hangers formed above. It had a lot of natural light due to the double height windows. The sun blinds outside prevented glare. Main staircase has natural light which is further enhanced by the yellow color of the stair. Aalto also believed that bright colors made people feel better and more active, so the lobby was treated with bright yellow walls. He really likes color close to yellow like orange. Door handles designed to prevent coat sleeves from being caught in them. The Villa Mairea 1924 architectural style modernism features courtyard of the villa was inspired by the organization of vernacular farmstead. The massing was inspired by the falling waters of Frank Lloyd Wright. By the way, Frank Lloyd Wright is the #1 master of international style, and Alvar Aalto is also one of the master. Here is the floor plan from the ground floor, first floor. Bedroom windows project out at an angle to address the line to approach the house through the forest. Well, this is the first time that I saw an angled window to give more view on his favorite view, the forest. The main entrance to the door is approach under two-level canopy, supported by a compound timber column and screened by a miniature forest of poles. I really like canopies and cantilever. Like here, the entrance is with a vast span of canopy, and the interior is always with yellow. That's his favorite color. To enter this inner sanctum, columns are made to resemble tree trunks are located at a certain points to create the impression similar to that of emerging through the fringes of a forest. The Baker's House 1947 architectural style modernist. Baker House is dormitory for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology designed in 1946. Aalto was assisted by 3 Finnish architects, Veli Paatela with his wife, Kaisa and Olav Hammarstrom in addition to Aino. It was named Baker House in 1950 after Abiray Baker, MIT's Dean of Students, who was killed in a plane crash that year. The site is located on heavily traffic street along the Charles River. In order to avoid as much as possible disturbing view out onto the streets, curving plan form was chosen. So did you notice, guys, this is a very curvilinear form. The purpose is same as to have a good view on what is important to view. This is an attempt to make use of this phenomenon was made with a form of building. The windows face diagonally to the passing automobiles and thus afford a quieter environment for the person within the room. The stairway system is housed in a paneled structure rising up to the north side of the building, which allows unobstructed view along its entire length from the lowest landing. So here is the plan of the MIT dormitory, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Features. The set of rooms can be seen as an illustration of what Aalto might mean by flexible standardization. Each cell is essentially identical, but because of the shape curve on Plan 22, different room shapes are created in typical floor of 43 rooms. And columns on the ground floor are simple plastered cylinder, but on the upper level their connection with the trees beyond is emphasized by splayed shape and timber cladding. The Otaninee Technical University, location Espoo, function auditorium, library, and university, contributed by Gonzales Juz Ledia. Alvar Alvar Aalto designed the campus for the Autonomy Technical University in Espoo, Finland, between 1949 and 1966. Aalto's buildings for the university include the main building, the library, the shopping center, and the water tower with crescent-shaped auditorium at the center. This is the crescent-shaped auditorium, guys. The focal point of this university center is the auditorium building with two large halls, also intended for congress. All tuition rooms are in adjacent buildings, grouped about small internal courts, and there are also found smaller lecture rooms, laboratories, and professor rooms. The center is divided into three principal departments: general, geodetic, and architectural. The chief materials are dark red brick, black granite, and copper. Outdoor lights by Aalto. The lamppost in the Otanimi campus area have also been designed by Aalto. There are three types of lamppost: one with curved cover, one with straight cover, and one with no cover at all. In staircase, like ascending rows of windows suggest from outside, and amphitheater. The heating plant, the campus-based heating plant building designed by Alvar Aalto. Aalto was realized at the outset of the 1960s. The most visible section of the building is the cube-shaped power plant, whose internal engineering is exposed to view from a glass facade. Amiran Taibal, this building was completed in 1966, is the only dormitory on campus designed by Alvar Aalto. The four-story V-shaped edifice has over 200 rooms, and originally it functioned during the summers as a hotel. Wow, this is multifunctional building. The library building designed by Alvar Aalto was completed in 1969. The Otahalli Sports Center designed by Alvar Aalto was completed for the 1952 Olympics. The building's larger hall was one of the time country's largest structures of its kind. So here is the plan. The elevation, and the section of the autonomy, the perspective, in his campus plan, Alvar Aalto placed the School of Science and Technology main building in a very visible central location, situated on one of the 7 hills of the area of the end of the row of lime trees. It is sure to be seen it is landmark feature. The striking amphitheater-like auditorium is particularly noticeable. The Otahalli complex, the library plan, side elevation, front view, the Jamiran Taibal, the Finlandia Hall. Architectural style is modern architecture. The Finlandia Hall is a congress and event venue in the center of Helsinki on Tulonlahti Bay. Finlandia Hall was designed in 1962 and built between 1967 and 72. The plan for the Congress wing was drawn up in 1970 and was constructed between 1973 and 75, with the completion of the first stage of his overall project. The main features of the Finlandia Hall building is a tower-like section with a sloping roof. Alvar Aalto's idea behind the design was that high empty space would provide better acoustics. So he gave emphasis on acoustics. First time I heard, along with the 5 masters of architecture, only Alvar Aalto talks about acoustics. A suspended ceiling hides the space to the audience, but it allows the creation of the same deep post-echo as tall church towers. Aalto used marble on both indoor and outdoor surfaces as contrast to black granite. Aalto marble was a tie to the Mediterranean culture which wanted to bring to Finland. The interior design. The design of each planned piece of furniture, panel, flooring, material, and decorative board reflects the mature approach resulting from Aalto's long career as an architect. Optical illusion. The National Museum building on the other side of the street seems to rise from the edge of the Finlandia Hall. The effect is created by a black trapezium on the white marble surface of the Finlandia. The trapezium has been measured to fit the rising tower of National Museum when the Finlandia Hall is viewed from the eastern shore of the Tulunlahti Bay. Aalto like the create to optical illusion. He always loved to create optical illusion. Today's topic is all about one of the international artists, Louis Isadore Kahn, master of international style. Okay, let's go to his early life. Louis Isadore Kahn was born in 1901 on the Baltic island of Osel, Estonia. His given name at birth was Itzilib Shumulewski, but was changed upon arrival in the U.S. Shumulewski, that's a difficult name to pronounce. Kahn attended public schools and supplemented his education with art classes at the local industrial art school. Completed his bachelor's degree from Pennsylvania University in 1924 after college work as a senior draftsman in the office of Philadelphia city architect John Molitor. To find his inspiration, he traveled through Europe, visiting castles and medieval strongholds. In 1928, only 4 years after graduating, he finally started his own firm in 1935. Re-examination of structures, elements of design, the form, space, and light. His earlier work abstained from international style modernism, inspired from Greek, Roman, Egyptian. Louis Kahn described his quest for meaningful form as a search for beginnings, a spiritual resource from which modern man could draw inspiration. Design philosophy. Louis Kahn is credited in redefining modern architecture in more than one ways. For example, Kahn was known to appreciate the appearance and feel of different materials that he used in his work. He used brick and concrete extensively. Kahn realized the importance of sunlight and was highly impressed by its usage in Egyptian and Greek works. Used extensive geometric shapes, and hence we find many of his buildings taking shape of square circles and triangles. Louis Kahn's vision on how an architect can make difference on his design can be seen from master's own words. Quote, "A building is like a human. An architect has the opportunity of creating life. The way the knuckles and joints comes together make each hand interesting and beautiful. In a building, these details should not be put in mitten and hidden. Space is architectural when the evidence of how it is made is seen and comprehended." Important works of Louis Kahn. In Yale University Art Gallery, New Haven, Connecticut, 1951-1953. The Salk Institute, La Jolla, California, 1959-1965. Hatio Sangsiad Badan National Assembly Building in Dhaka, Bangladesh, 1962-1974. Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad, India, 1962. These are his famous works. Buildings uses modern materials, concrete and glass, and the form was influenced by the Greek and Egyptian architecture of the early period. The Yale Art Gallery 1951-1953, the Yale University Art Gallery is in New Haven, Connecticut, the renowned modernist building that is adjacent to the neo-Gothic structures. The Yale University Art Gallery and Design Center was Kahn's first significant commission and is widely considered his first masterpiece. Constructed of masonry, concrete, glass, and steel, and presenting a windowless wall along its most public facade, the Kahn Building was the first modernist structure at Yale. Kahn's design has been celebrated not only for its beauty, geometry, and light, but also for its structural and engineering innovation. The Yale Art Center served to catalyze many of his basic ideas and beliefs about architecture. The Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, 1963. While Louis Kahn was designing the National Assembly building in Bangladesh in 1962, he was approached by an admiring Indian architect, Balkrishna Doshi, to design the 60-acre campus for the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad, India. In 1961, a visionary group of industrialists collaborated with the Harvard Business School to create a new school focused on the advancement of specific professions to advance India's industry. It was Kahn's method of blending modern architecture and Indian tradition into architecture that could only be applied for the Indian Institute of Management. He incorporated local materials, brick and concrete, and large geometrical facade extraction as homage to Indian vernacular architecture. The large facade omissions are abstracted patterns found within the Indian culture that were positioned to act as light wells and natural cooling system protecting interior from India's harsh desert climate. Even though the porous geometric facade act as filters for sunlight and ventilation, the porosity allowed for the creation of new spaces of gathering for the students and faculty to come together. The auditorium and the classroom. Notice, guys, he uses semicircle arrangement, and here an octagonal plan. The Salk Institute, 1959. This particular building emphasizes the principle keep it simple and strong. Through this building, Kahn has achieved astonishing use of space. May it be the space available for laboratories where research is conducted, or it may be the office space where ideas arise. This institute shows a wonderful collaboration of mind and action. The building's beautiful concrete surfaces ensure precise detailing and magnificent experience. The central court has a typical Kahn-like space of shimmering blue water and a band pointing toward the ocean, epitomizing what human endeavor can accomplish at one scale with geometric clarity and authority but modest deliberation, and to give the scaleless sweep of the ocean. Louis Kahn was known for his ability to create epic architectural structures that showcased human scale. He predominantly used brick and bare concrete as his building materials, and he used highly refined surfaces like travertine marble for reinforcing the textures. According to Kahn, the role of the natural light was one of the most significant factors in creating architectural spaces that could be termed as masterpiece. Kahn has described a structure as a giver of light, classic example, these are some of his projects located in hot climates. For projects such as U.S. Consulate in Luanda, Angola, 1959-1962, meeting houses of the Salk Institute in Indian Institute Management, Ahmedabad, India, in 1962. All these projects have great walls taking different kinds of shape, openings, which help protecting inner spaces from extreme direct sunlight. Notice guys, he uses sun baffles or sunscreen here, protecting the inner space from the harsh sunlight. This is architecture of function. Khan is influenced by the Egyptian architecture, which uses vernacular materials like those bricks and uses vast space. Here is Louis Kahn National Assembly, Dhaka. Octagonal in plan. On top view you can see this octagonal shaped building. Khan had intended to make a building of monumental presence, but after Bangladesh had officially broke from Pakistani rule in December 1971, the project became much more of a symbol of democracy and pride for the Bengali people. So here is the plan of the National Assembly building. There are 8 halls that are concentrically aligned around the parliamentary grand chamber, which is not only a metaphor for placing a new democratic government at the heart of the building. It is also part of Khan's design objective to optimize spatial configuration where supporting programs, offices, hotels, or parliamentary officials and restaurant project out the new center volume. The entire complex is fabricated out of poured in a place concrete with inlaid white marble, which is not only a modernist statement of power and presence, but is more of testament to the local materials and values. So meaning to say, Louis Kahn give importance to local materials, vernacular materials, such as in India, bricks are abundant. So he uses lots of brick for Indian designed buildings. The sheer mass of monumentally scaled National Assembly and the artificial lake surrounding the building act as natural insulator and cooling system that also begin to create interesting spatial lighting conditions. The geometric shapes are abstracted forms found in traditional Bengali culture that are meant to create a marriage of old and new cultures' identities, as well as serve as light wells, a natural environmental control system for the interior. So this is the interior of the National Assembly in Ahmedabad. Notice guys, the open window upstairs. That's for cooling. That's the cooling system using natural air and wind to cool spaces in the interior. Okay class, here is your one and only project for this semester. What you are going to do with the 5, make that the 6 masters in architecture. Okay, so here is what you are going to do. You make an autobiography of each architect, of each master, and then write down with pictures all their works in their lifetime, or all of their greatest works in their lifetime. Okay, so if there are 6 masters in architecture that I gave to you, meaning to say there are 6 autobiography or history of each architect. And then, of course, there are 6 sets of architectural works for each masters. Okay, and the deadline for this will be after our pre-final exam. That's before final or in the middle of pre-final and final period. Okay guys, but if you can do it, you can submit it as early as you want. Next week if you can do it. But it will be submitted personally, not as a JPEG or soft copy. Alright? So once again, autobiography of each master, the story of his life, and then his greatest works and achievements. That's pages by pages. Okay, so that's all. That's one and only project for you in History 2 for the Masters of Architecture in International Styles. Thank you so much guys, and subscribe and make comment for your attendance. Ciao for now.